If you're nearing retirement, you may be thinking about different financial considerations like enrolling in Medicare, adjusting your budget, and withdrawing funds from your retirement accounts. But there are also longer-term considerations that you'll need to think about for more comprehensive planning. Joining me now, we've got the host of Decoding Retirement, Bob Powell, in studio with us. Bob, you got to talk about the differences that you perceive in the planning for the first so-called part of your retirement versus the second part of your retirement.
Yeah, so there are typically three phases of retirement: the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. And most people plan for the go-go and slow-go, but no less so for the no-go years. And the no-go years are really important to plan for because that's when all your health concerns arise. And many people often say that they don't want to be a burden on their children. Well, if that was the case, if they don't want to be a burden on your children, you would plan for those no-go years. And you wouldn't plan during a crisis, you would plan decades before there's a crisis.
And so how do you think about how you're paying for all of this? Is it all you, or is there government assistance that comes along?
Yeah, so there are two things to think about, Brad. One is, where will you live and how will you pay for it? So in your go-go and slow-go years, most people want to age in place. 80% of older adults want to age in place. And so if they need health care at home, there are a number of options. They could get a geriatric care manager, they could get a home health aide, they could get unpaid help through their daughters and sons and loved ones. And that's one way to think about, or they could go to an adult daycare too. So there's options for people who are aging in place.
And so how do you think about how you're paying for all of this? I mean, when you ultimately are clarifying how people are paying here, I mean, just break that down for us.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't have long-term care insurance. So most of the time, what they're doing is paying out of pocket for things like home health aides or geriatric care managers. Things get a little bit more complicated when you have to move out of your house into maybe a continuing care retirement community or assisted living, or worse yet, a skilled nursing facility. Then things get a lot more expensive. And then you have to think about, well, if you're going into a skilled nursing facility, will Medicaid pay for it? And that does end up paying for about 70% of Americans who are in a long-term skilled nursing facility. On the other hand, if you're in an assisted living facility or in a continuing care retirement community, it's likely that you're paying out of pocket for it. And those can get expensive, around $5,000 a month.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Bob, thanks so much for taking the time break.
Yeah, man. Look at that type of money. It caught me, for myself, look at the numbers and seeing this video, it caught me missing one thing. Okay, if I get, make it to 60, 70, or 80, when it comes to, if I had kids or more kids, I'm gonna stay with, if I don't, how are we gonna spend the money like that? Which is something to think about. So go ahead, Rodney. What's your take about, future planning when it comes to your health?
Shout out to Dave Ramsey. I love the Dave Ramsey show. I watch all his highlights, especially when it comes to the aspect of retirement. One of the questions a lot of older people tend to ask him, hey, Dave, I didn't save enough money for retirement. Is it too late for me? And the number one thing he will always tell them, no, it's never too late for retirement to save up for retirement. So if you're someone that's not saving right now for retirement, you need to get started. The best way to get started, especially with your employers, go ahead, set up a 401k. Of course, it's not financial advisor. Always speak with a financial advisor, but I'm just being honest. This is what I have done for my personal listen to a lot of financial guru, and also going to my employers, asking them questions when it comes to retirement. Set up a 401k, set up a life insurance policy. Not only that, if you have money in the bank, make sure the money in the bank is working for you. Never have money in the bank just not doing that, absolutely not doing anything. And not only that, if you have some people, they like to save money and put underneath their mattress, in a shoebox, in their car. If you have money laying around, make sure it's being used for and utilize it strongly, because you know why? When you get older, you see, like LeBron James, he was not able to go to the All-Star. He was in the All-Star game, but he was not able to play because now his knees is acting up, because he's getting older in age. You want to make sure you have money enough saved up for retirement so it can help you pay off those expenses, just in case you need those medical expenses paid off for. I'm just keeping 100, folks. Especially now, you're seeing people live to be over 90 years old, which is amazing. You want to make sure you don't become a burden to your own kids. You're seeing how kids are taking over their parents' burden because they're like, oh, it's my duty as a son or a daughter to take care of my parents when they get older. Yes, I think it's very commendable. But however, you want to make sure you set for yourself for a very long time. My father is set for life. Hakeem, you will talk about that. His father is set for life, and his mom as well, because they set up a retirement plan so they can always be straight. Go right ahead, Hakeem.
What up? Shout outs to Ashton Women, the Shiesty Avengers in the building. They'll be going live right after us. He took the words out of my mouth. Retirement plan, 401k. But biggest thing, he said something in that video. I want people to know that where are you going to live? And this is why it's always important to try to own a property, not something that is too expensive, so you can be able to age where you at. You can always have somebody come take care of you, but it's hard if you don't have nowhere to stay. So that's why ownership, shout out to On the Spot Live, who is a realtor, why it's important to own where you live.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. And then I really listened to this video. It constantly wonders like, what once I get up into age, and once I have my daughter, really talk about the area where she might move, or me and my wife might move at, and really discuss when we get up in age, like how my finances are, not just to my wife, also to my child when I get up in age and everything, because like I said, you never know that, like I said, if me and my wife get something up to age in that, and we might be, losing sight, like a sight, might not be seeing well, or might get, some people, some old people get dementia at a very early age too. I think it's very, very important because of finances could really push. If you got any kids or any kids, to kind of push them with the finances, if they help with finances and everything. So at the situation, there's certain families. I know me and my mom talked about this. When my mom get a little bit up in age, that if she want to live somewhere when she starts retiring, she want to live, with me if I'm still in California, or something like that, and really discuss her finances in the future, and how she's gonna use her finances not for herself, but also for self-care and everything. So yeah, but it comes. If you got any parents that are elderly, you said Ronnie and Akeem, your parents are really set for life and everything.
Yep.
And they really try to kind of if they pass away, you guys are maybe kind of set up in a way in the future as well. And I think that's very, very important. And also I know for you guys parents and for my parents and everything, when it comes to insurances and health and everything, they pretty much good to go. But also they do have their kids, if anything can happen, they know they got the kids that kind of when it comes to any type of medical issues, when it comes to surgery, anything like that. If your parents, my parents, like, hey, I want you, to tell the doctor what needs to be done, and I'm giving you the I'm giving you the option of giving me the best thing so for me to happen to me for long term.